Oh my goodness. So, trying to think. It's a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be. Um, so, interesting thing happened yesterday. Well, a couple things. I was in this funk yesterday. I felt like using. I really did. I felt like using. I I don't know what it was. I don't know. Okay, so I get to this point right in my recovery where it's just before 6 months clean. I have 5 months clean now, and I always end up relapsing just at when I get to 6 months. Just before, actually, I have a hard time getting there, and I don't know. I don't know if it's my addiction. No, I know it's my in my head. In my, I don't. It's just coming out. You know what I mean? In so many different ways. It's not about. It's not about use. It's not about the using. My behaviors are gonna lead me to use if I don't change them. My downfall is relationships. They really are. I don't know what it is if I just start feeling not enough, or maybe I'm feeling so much and I'm not used to it. I don't know. I don't know. I'm so confused by it. I know it has to do with my childhood, not feeling enough, people pleasing, wanting to know I'm good through other people. And I feel like maybe not deserving of all these good things that are happening sometimes. And then I self sabotage. I create this mess in my life. I'm scared actually. I don't want to use. But if I don't change my behaviors with this whole relationship thing, because see, it's not even just about being like in a relationship, like the official, I have a girlfriend or, a partner in general. It's about, it even boils down just to people flirting with me, like, because it makes me feel good to feel wanted. I don't know why that means so much. I mean, I hear other people talk about it and feel it. There was a guy that came in the meeting last week and shared he had a good amount of time clean and he relapsed because he wanted to have sex. Plain and simple. He knew that he could go to a bar and pick up a chick. Plain and simple. And he drank. Just feel wanted. Just feel that connection. It's like feeling the connection of, I don't know, the fellowship of, the 12-step program that we're in, or, our addiction says it's not enough. Our mind plays tricks on us to make us think that we're not enough. But he was honest, and that was one thing that I gave him props for. Like, that was courageous to come in and just say, listen. Wow. Our addiction is powerful. Very powerful. And see, it's not about sex for me. That's not even it. That's not even it. I just, I don't know how to feel complete sometimes. Enough. It all boils down to feeling like I'm enough. And also, it's a high. I mean, I talked to my sponsor about it, and my sponsor's like, it's normal to want to feel, to feel good. But it's the seeking part of it that I'm doing. It's not just about letting it come, or whatever's going to be is going to be, right? It's my self-seeking behaviors that's the problem. It so is. it's like it's like knowing something and knowing you should do something, and it's like a drug. It really is like a drug. It's like being pulled to act in this way or this behavior and not being able to stop yourself. The compulsion to keep going because you know it feels good. But that just makes me feel crappier about myself. Because then you don't know what's real, you know? What's real? These people really love and care about me. Or am I manipulating a situation to get them to care and love about me? I know it all boils down to my addiction in my mind. But getting out of my own way, of my own feelings, it's really difficult. And here's the thing, it's not like I want to be in a relationship with any of these people, you know? Well, there's one. There's one. There is one. There's definitely one. But see, the thing is I know my pattern. I want to get to the halfway house. And one friend was like, it's a temporary solution to a long-term problem, getting to the halfway house, because I know the halfway house has structure and it forces me to, you know, do things that I can't do on my own. It really does. I'm not there yet. Even though I have 5 months clean, I'm not there yet. I can't pull myself away to do what I need to do for myself. And I know it takes the focus off me, and it's so much easier to do. It's so much easier to do, to create this chaos in your life and then deal with that, you know, because it's comfortable. It really is. As much as I don't like chaos, it's what I'm used to. So when I don't have it, I think I start to feel, oh no, something's wrong. And then I create it. I create situations. And that's honest. I don't know how to. Oh, I do know how to. It's like knowing something and following through is so difficult sometimes. So difficult. Mm. You know, then feelings come up about. And maybe this is it. You know, like my mom passed away 5 years ago, and for a long time I ran from those feelings. I was very angry. I didn't want to deal with them. And I think they start to come up, those feelings of not having her here and stuff, and they're very uncomfortable. And I think when I start to feel that uncomfortableness is when I create this chaos in my life to take the direction off the feelings, the core issues that I'm feeling. I don't know. And it's funny. And this is why it's so important to go to meetings and to have positive people in your life, because when I start to get down on myself because I feel like I should be farther along or I should be somewhere else, you know, I keep hearing my friends tell me, give yourself a break. Just don't use. Just don't pick up the first one and you can't get high, you know? Everything will work out if you just don't use. And I don't want to use. Like I said, I'm scared. I know my 6 months is coming up and I'm scared. But it's actually the first time I've talked about it. Self-awareness is huge, right? Trying to see your patterns and learn from your mistakes. And I'm trying to learn from my mistakes, trying to look at my past relapses and see where I went wrong or see what I needed to change or need to fix or need to be honest with. And oh my goodness, it's a daily thing I have to do. But yesterday I was going through it for sure. Yeah, I just had the case of the efforts. I didn't want to do anything. I walked out of a meeting. I was totally picking up vibes from people. But that's the part that bothers me. It's not about the people. It's about the message. And I couldn't get my head to where I needed to be. I just couldn't. It took a while. You know, a lot of talking. It's amazing though how I feel like my higher power puts people in my life at just the right time, right? Because a couple people I knew from recovery, seen what was going on with me and called me out, what's going on with you, had conversations. I still couldn't pull myself out of this funk, right? But so last night we had the addiction recovery thing brand new through the church, and I didn't even want to go. I'm like, I don't want to do this. What's the point? Like, that's my addiction speaking to me in my mind. What's the point of any of this? What is the point? But I went. I did go. I fought the feeling of I was going to make up an excuse, to be honest. I was going to make up an excuse why I couldn't go. Because I do have a cold, so I was going to use that as an excuse to not go. But one of my friends had said to me, she sent me a text, and I keep it, and I read it all the time. It's not about you. Take you out of the equation. It's about helping somebody else, because I'm codependent. So if I can look at, it's hard to do something to take care of myself, right? So if I can look at it as I'm helping someone else, it gets me to that place. And in helping someone else, I am actually helping myself. So once I got there, I felt so much better. So much better. I did. Once I got out of my own mind, our topic was about higher power. And once I start talking, I usually don't stop. I don't know how to. I mean, it's a good thing. It really is. It's just when I get into that funk where, I don't want to talk. I isolate, and that's definitely a dangerous place to be, you know. I feel like there's temptation everywhere. Oh, so listen to this. The day before that, right? I was walking by DSS, and just some random person was like, "Hey, I got some bags. You need anything?" Outside of DSS. I mean, just like random people. Who does that? I mean, but that's the reality of our situation, though, right? Like, random people just come up to you and offer you stuff. I mean, and that's right across from the Binghamton High School. So can you imagine? Can you imagine, right? I can only imagine. When the high school kids are walking around, but that's what drug dealers do. They target areas, right? And what a perfect area. And it's not like there's not cops there, but I mean, it's so subtle. It really is subtle, you know? And thank God I was in a better place the day before than I was yesterday. You know? Because like I said, I'd like to think that I wouldn't. Because like I said, I don't want to use. It's not about that. I'd like to think I had the strength, to do something different. But one choice, one decision makes a huge difference in your life. It can alter everything. And that's the importance of building your foundation and building your support network, because in those moments, had I been offered yesterday, I do have a huge support system. It's just getting yourself to reach out to those people, to the support network you build. And being connected to your higher power and praying is huge. God, please help me. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I say that prayer probably at least 10 times a day, sometimes even more, depending on where I'm at. Yesterday I said it a lot. I said it a real lot. I don't know, but like the random people, like, again, like, what a place to try to sell drugs to kids. I mean, and it's not even, listen, I'm not justifying any kind of drug use, but I mean, like, bags of heroin are being sold outside of schools. You know what I mean? And that's the only place. One time I was outside of a meeting, and some guy came up to a group of us and was like, "Is this an NA meeting?" And it was a women's meeting. I'm like, yeah, definitely. I'm like, it's an all women's meeting, but I was telling him, where other meetings were because I thought he was interested. And he's like, oh. He's like, that's good. You guys have each other for support. And I'm like, yeah, it is. It's really good. Recovery's good. And he's like, so, if you guys struggle, I'm like, sometimes it's a struggle. And he's like, well, I have some Suboxone for sale, if you guys are struggling and you need anything. I was like, wait, what? What? Are you seriously trying to sell Suboxone to a bunch of people in recovery outside of a meeting? I felt like he had a meeting list in his pocket or something. Like, because after that meeting, I seen him again at a different meeting trying to do the same thing. That's what I mean. Like, oh my goodness. It's everywhere. It really is everywhere. It is everywhere. And that's why that's why it's so important for people when they reach out for help to help them. I mean, like this, like again, the waiting period in between trying to get in a facility for some help is absolutely ridiculous. So many people I've talked to, their story has been, I went to inpatient rehab, but there was no aftercare available for months and months. And once I got out, I was left nothing with nothing. And I went back to using. Like I said, I am grateful. Like, I want to be in the halfway house. I wish I was there already. I do. But I am so grateful to be where I'm at because if I didn't have the support system that I do right now that I built, and a safe place to stay with someone that is in recovery that has a lot of years clean, and she opened up her home to me, her and her family, to let me stay here until a bed opens at the halfway house. Because they wanted to send me the VOA or the Endicott Inn. And I straight up told DSS, I'm not going there. I know there's people using it, the VOA. I know there is. I know who they are. I know the situation. And the Endicott Inn, people sell drugs there. I bought drugs from there. Not going there. I said, I want to stay clean. I know I'm supposed to be able to get clean anywhere, but it's like walking into a bar. How many times are you going to walk into a bar before you buy a beer, right? Before you buy a drink. It's the same situation walking into a place where people are using or people are getting high. I can't do it. Like, I want to stay clean. I told DSS I have a place that is safe that I can go to, that they're going to help me until I get in the halfway house. And they said, by all means, if that's going to be work for you, then please do that. So I did, and I'm grateful. But so many people don't have that. So many people don't have that. And again, they fall through the cracks. And they end up using. But the scary part about all that is that that one use, that one more time, could be the last time. And I try to remember that when I feel like using. Like, this one time that I use could be my last time that I use. So, I don't know. Oh, another thing that made me very grateful, right? So I'm involved in H&I through Narcotics Anonymous, and hospitals and institutions, they bring NA meetings into facilities, right? So I went to the ACC, to observe because I need 6 months clean to speak. But I went in to observe, and it kept it very fresh for me where I was at a year ago. Because a year ago on Thanksgiving, I was at the ACC. And I knew a lot of people that were in the ACC because I'd seen them at meetings and, stuff like that. And it just kept it very fresh for me where I could be and where I was to where I'm at now. And it made me grateful because it's about gratitude. If I'm not grateful for what I have or where I'm at, and I focus on where I think I should be or where I want to be, I'm telling you right now, I will be back in the ACC. Or I'll be dead. Let's just be honest. I'll be dead. Because if I use, I'm an all or nothing person. Either I'm all in my addiction or I'm all in my recovery. There's no in between for me. It is all or nothing. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm so involved, too, with so many different things. Like, a lot of the service work through my 12-step program with NA, like H&I, A&E, doing that stuff. And then I'm Dope Without Dope. I'm very passionate about that. And then getting started with this thing with my church, brand new. Like, it's huge for me. It keeps me very busy. I'm in outpatient counseling at New Horizons. Oh, and the other thing, I FCS for mental health counseling, right? Because that's part of my story too, is that I suffer from mental health issues, you know, which is, you know, I have to take care of in order to stay clean too, because a lot of time, no, in my past, not a lot of times, definitely my past, when I wasn't on medication or counseling for mental health, I would self-medicate and I would use, to battle the symptoms of my mental health. So I went to my initial intake appointment there yesterday. I can't be seen until January, and it's the end of October. That's a long time. And listen, I'm grateful that my primary care doctor is prescribing my meds, but that's me knowing what meds I need to be on already. What if, and here's the problem, other problem with that is that so many people are suffering from mental health issues and can't get in, don't have a primary care doctor that can work with them to give them meds, right? So, again, here's the problem. Such a long wait for them to get any help, so then they start self-medicating to battle the symptoms of their mental health, plus their addiction. So once they start, they can't stop. I wish I could tell you how many times I've heard that. I've experienced it myself. When I didn't have insurance, I would self-medicate. I would do good for a minute, but then without my meds, I would end up self-medicating. I definitely would. We need to close the gap between how long people have to wait to get any help. Seriously. Because we're going to keep losing people. And it's just going to get worse. We need to do something. We need to come together as a community. We need to pull people in to try to change this. Because where we're at right now with deaths, I think it was 39, it's going to be way past that. It's going to be in the hundreds. It really is. And the people that have OD'd, it's in the hundreds. But, thank God they're not for Narcan a lot of times. But that's a temporary solution to a huge problem. I mean, that's dealing with it when it's too late. We need stuff before that, way before that. We're trying to do the awareness thing, you know what I mean? But it's not just about that. We need to get funding in for stuff for people to do once they get into recovery, or like I said, more facilities, and there's just so much more we could be doing. And the epidemic, it's getting worse, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. Especially since we need to be doing more. We really need to be doing more. And that's why I'm so passionate about all the things I'm doing. Because I know that without dealing with this stuff, it's our children that are going to suffer. It really is. The next generation of people. Like I said, there's people dealing drugs outside the high school. Asking random people, what is that? And that's just one spot. I mean, they're everywhere. And it's not just about the dealers either. I mean, and it's not just about the addicts. It's a combination of all of it. It really is. And that's why it has to be a whole thing. It can't just be one area. It has to be the whole thing. It really does. Very frustrating. Because, I looked over at the high school and I seen all those young kids. And I remember where I was at when I was a teenager. Anyone offered me anything, especially dealing with the emotional stuff that I was going through. And I'm sure kids still deal with the emotional stuff and don't know how to have an outlet for it, And you find a way, you find something that numbs all those crazy feelings you're feeling, and before you know it, it's too late again. I don't know. There's just so much more we could be doing. So, in saying that, tonight is our Halloween dance for NA. I'm so excited. Having fun clean it's better than any drug I've ever done. Ever done. I didn't even know it was possible to have that much fun. It's like, it's being childlike again and feeling all those feelings for the first time. And that's the exciting part about recovery for me, is feeling those amazing feelings and just sitting with the bad ones to get, because the good ones are coming again. And so like tonight, the good ones are coming, and I'm so excited for that. And I want to share that. That's why I'm spreading the word to so many people, like, come on, come have fun and dance with us. And we're having some speakers, some games going on, and then the dance. And, it's very exciting. I'm so excited about it. And then tomorrow, I get to go. There's a couple things. It's actually a busy weekend. We're having a table set up at the mall for I'm Dope Without Dope to raise more money, and which I loved. I did the Girls World Expo, which was awesome. Did some dancing, talked to some kids, and raised some money, which was amazing. So we can do that at the mall this weekend too. Tomorrow, have our table set up for a while, get the message out, and then I get to go to Scranton, PA, where they're having a Halloween party, a speaker jam, and that's the other thing, is fellowshipping with people outside of the area. I mean, the bigger our network, the higher our freedom. That's what my predecessors told me. The more we connect with people, the greater the more connected we feel, I guess, is the farther away from the obsession and the compulsion to use. And what a great thing to have so many friends that love and care about you and that would do anything for you. That's what we all need. And that's the way to get there. We have to do the footwork to get there. And so I'm excited to go out of town and meet new people and, experience that side of it, definitely. And then Sunday is the Chocolate Festival. So excited about that too, because again, I'm Dope Without Dope has a table set up there to raise awareness, raise money for the Sober Social Club we're trying to get opened, and eat chocolate. Who doesn't love chocolate? Yeah, I'm pretty excited. So it's a busy weekend. It really is. And, I have church on Sunday. There's a lot going on. A lot going on. I'm so excited about being part of all of it. It's just getting out of my own way sometimes. Ugh, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. See, and then I guess this is good for me to do this video. Maybe I should do it more. I should sit down and do it more. Because hearing myself talk about all these amazing things going on makes me think less and less about using. It really does. When it's brought to my attention, look at everything that's going on. Look at all the amazing things that are going on. Because if I sit in my own thoughts, my addiction will it will consume me. It will tell me, just get high. Just one bag will make you feel better. You won't feel like this anymore. But that's what I'm used to doing, and it's about trying to do something different today. And it's not just about doing it in general. It's about doing it in the moments when you feel like using. That's why I was so grateful yesterday I had the church thing to go to last night. Because once I got there, I felt so much better. And I don't know if maybe it was the weather. I don't know. But other people kind of felt the exact same thing I was feeling. Which, I don't want anyone to feel the way, but it's so amazing to connect with people that are feeling the same things you feel. So you don't feel alone. That isolation that our addiction brings us to, our mind. Our mind can be a scary place sometimes, Oh, man, I don't know. So I called about the halfway house again yesterday. I call every day. I know they're probably sick of hearing from me. No beds. No beds still. Still waiting. Still waiting. It's frustrating. It is. That's why I think another thing. We need to open bigger places, add on to them. I don't know, something. We need to do something. Because, like I said, if it wasn't for my support network I have right now, I'd probably be using again. I've surrounded my people. And not everyone knows to do that. And, if they're new to the area, and that's why I think reaching out is so important, to let people know they're not alone. But I know the feeling of, frustration. Ugh. And you can't make anything, happen. But the reality is, I either have to wait for people to graduate or for people to relapse. And unfortunately, statistically, people are going to relapse before they graduate. It's sad. It's very sad. I don't know. I'm just holding on tight to everything, you know, very tight. So, I don't feel like using today. That's the great thing about it, right? It all passes. You know, thank God I'm not where I was yesterday. Because yesterday, like I said, I was going through it definitely for a minute. But I do have people in my life that I can reach out to. It's just doing it and following through. It's so important in early recovery to, if you say you're going to do something, do it, follow through. My first sponsor told me that. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Integrity is important. Building the traits that are important to you, that build your self-esteem, and that's part of it, following through with what you say you're going to do. Because in my addiction, I would say I was going to show up to this or do that, or I never did. Nobody could count on me. I couldn't count on myself, let alone anybody else count on me. Couldn't hold a job, nothing. And today I can choose differently, and I am choosing differently, which makes me feel good, which builds my self-esteem, which gets me farther away from wanting to use. Because when I act in a way that are old behaviors and addictive behaviors, like I acted in my active addiction, my mind will tell me, well, you're doing this. Why wouldn't you just use? Then you don't have to feel it anymore, you know? And that's where a lot of times my mind takes me if I continue to act in those behaviors. That's why it's so important, especially now. I'm almost to 6 months, and December 8th will be 6 months. And like I said, I'm scared. I want to get there, but I need to be very mindful and very aware and very careful and tread very softly with everything, and be very, it's so important to be mindful. And I'm trying to be mindful about my motives and my behaviors, and what does it really mean. And you know I'm either walking towards my recovery or towards my addiction. So this weekend I'm going to continue walking towards my recovery and be very present. I try to be very present in every moment. And like I said, sometimes I get consumed by other things. The obsessive part of like relationships, or, attention, people pleasing, self-seeking behaviors. And those are all character defects that I need to work on. But just for today, I'm going to give myself a break and just not use. And continue to try to do the next right thing. Even when no one's looking, because that's a huge part of it too. Doing the right thing. Doing the next right thing. So I'm going to enjoy my weekend. I hope everyone has a great Halloween. Be safe. And I'll let you know how my weekend turns out later.